Imam Natasha with This Week News. Red flag warning. Issued at Sun 11:22 a.m. April 13, 2025. Issued by National Weather Service. Description: elevated fire danger today across east central Florida. Affected area: Brevard, Indian River, Okeechobee, Orange, Osceola, Seminole, and Volusia counties. Wind: north-northwest around 15 miles per hour with gusts to 20 to 25 miles per hour. Humidity: 25 to 35%. Impacts: any fires that develop will likely spread rapidly. Outdoor burning is not recommended. Recommended action: a red flag warning means that critical fire weather conditions are either occurring now or will shortly. A combination of strong winds, low relative humidity, and warm temperatures can contribute to extreme fire behavior. Rainfall warning. Issued at Monday 3:33 p.m. April 14, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description: rain, heavy at times, is expected. Locations: southwestern New Brunswick. Total rainfall: 25 to 50 millimeters, with locally higher amounts possible. Time span: tonight until Tuesday morning. Similar storms in the past have caused hazardous driving conditions from water pooling on roadways, elevated water levels in creeks and streams, localized flooding, especially in poor drainage areas. ###. Heavy downpours can cause flash floods and water pooling on roads. Rainfall warnings are issued when significant rainfall is expected. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, send an email to nbstorm@ec.gc.ca or post reports on X using #NBStorm. Significant disruption to the polar vortex over far northern Canada will keep the pattern's influence locked in our neck of the woods like a houseguest overstaying their welcome. Even as the world comes alive with the sights and sounds of spring, we still have to keep an eye on that pesky pattern to the north, as it throws wrenches in our steady march toward warmer conditions. Don't miss. This is what La Nina's demise could mean for Canada. The polar vortex is an ever-present circulation of upper-level winds spiraling around the Arctic, strengthening in the winter and weakening in the summer. Weak polar vortex pattern April 2025. When the polar vortex is strong and stable, this belt of winds keeps the season's coldest air locked across the far north. Occasionally, we'll see the polar vortex's circulation weaken and become unstable. This breakdown allows upper-level troughs to swoop southward and force cold air to spill toward lower latitudes. A breakdown in the polar vortex usually occurs as the result of a disruption, and we've seen one of those disruptions over the past couple of weeks. Must see. Get an exclusive look at hidden gems across Canada. Weak polar vortex April 2025. The core of the polar vortex slid away from the North Pole toward Europe in the middle of March. This movement has allowed winds to shift, increasing the odds for cooler-than-normal temperatures to dive south into portions of Canada. We are already feeling this disruption's influence across the Great Lakes region, where we've had several rounds of ice and snow over the past couple of weeks. This pattern will continue for the next 10 days, with cooler temperatures prevailing across Ontario and Quebec, while milder conditions will find a home across the prairies and a large swath of British Columbia. Rainfall warning. Issued at Monday 4:42 a.m. April 14, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description: rain, heavy at times, is expected. Total rainfall: 20 to 35 millimeters. Locations: northeastern Cape Breton Island. Time span: this afternoon and evening. Remarks: the rain is expected to mix at times with snow and ice pellets late this evening before ending after midnight. Similar storms in the past have caused elevated water levels in creeks and streams, Localized flooding, especially in poor drainage areas. ###. Localized flooding in low-lying areas is possible. Rainfall warnings are issued when significant rainfall is expected. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, send an email to nstorm@ec.gc.ca or post reports on X using #NSStorm. With plenty of severe weather and tornadoes south of the border in recent weeks, it was only a matter of time before some of that spilled into Canada as we get deeper into spring. While Canada has had ample amounts of thunderstorm activity this spring, with some locales seeing cells reaching severe criteria, there hadn't been a confirmed tornado in 2025 until Saturday. The province that snagged the country's first twister in 2025 is Alberta. Meanwhile, it happened while other parts of the province were still dealing with snow. Don't miss, US tornado count nears 500, when is it Canada's turn? The Landspout tornado, which doesn't originate from the same supercells that can produce destructive and deadly twisters, was captured in photo and video form on Saturday, April 12, before its official confirmation from Environment and Climate Change Canada, ECCC. Alberta Landspout tornado, first in Canada, April 12, 2025. The twister occurred northwest of Rolling Hills at approximately 5:20 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. ECCC noted that a brief tornado was observed approximately 10 kilometers north of Rolling Hills. ECCC received multiple reports and photos, but there have been no reports of damage at this time. The tornado was given a preliminary rating of EF0. This was considered a landspout tornado that was generated by weak rotation under rapidly growing clouds or weak thunderstorms. Landspout tornadoes do not usually cause significant damage, but can still be dangerous, as they can topple trees, damage roofs, or toss debris a short distance, said ECCC, in the summary of the tornado confirmation. The environment. It was not a supercell environment on Saturday, but some Alberta magic was put on display. Very cool air aloft and surface heating mean the temperature drops quickly as you head aloft. There was minimal convective available potential energy, CAPE, just a couple hundred joules, but that's pretty typical in early season setups. With no supercell parameters lighting up, the setup just screamed of landspout potential, even with dew points below freezing. It's most likely this tornado formed along a boundary, or a convergence zone, and turned into a visible funnel associated with rapidly developing updrafts. Landspout versus supercell tornado. There are multiple factors that distinguish a landspout from a supercellular tornado. First, a landspout tornado doesn't come from a rotating supercell. It will form along points of convergence, or an outflow boundary. It often tends to be weaker, EF0 or EF1 rating, but can still cause damage. Picture a small column of rotating air or leaves at the surface. Seems harmless, right? But strong lift in the environment can be caused by a rapidly growing updraft, developing above the swirl, stretching the air. That can cause the rotation to tighten, like a skater spinning faster by pulling their arms in. Tornado versus landspout. With tornado season in the early stages in Canada, Saturday's twister won't be the last to occur in Alberta in 2025 either. The province averages a little more than 11 tornadoes each year. Alberta also snagged Canada's first tornado in 2023, recorded on May 11 near Cayley. Another case of a landspout was observed, with a weak, EF0 twister documented. In contrast, 2024's season started much earlier, with Ontario's earliest ever tornado recorded on March 16, just south of Windsor, tying the provincial record. Below is just a selection of visuals of the landspout tornado that have appeared on social media. Snowfall warning. Issued at Monday 3:50 p.m. April 14, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description. Snowfall with total amounts of about 15 centimeters is expected. Locations: northern New Brunswick. Total snowfall: 15 centimeters, possibly locally more. Time span: overnight Tuesday to Wednesday morning. Precipitation will begin as rain Tuesday evening and change to snow late in the evening or overnight. Snow will taper to flurries Wednesday morning. There is some uncertainty in the track of the system, and a slight change in track could change precipitation amounts. ###. Rapidly accumulating snow could make travel difficult over some locations. Snowfall warnings are issued when significant snowfall is expected. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, send an email to nbstorm@ec.gc.ca or post reports on X using #NBStorm. Ontario Premier Doug Ford is defending his longtime campaign strategist Corey Tenicke for comments he made criticizing federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. Accused Poilievre and his team of blowing a big lead in the polls, which now firmly place the Liberals ahead of the Conservatives by a notable margin. "I know it's uncomfortable for people to hear that said out loud, but it's in every poll and every poll aggregator. The numbers are the numbers, and saying that you don't believe in polls, if you're managing a campaign, it's delusional," Tenicke told Capellos in an interview on Tuesday. Some Conservative supporters were spotted at a rally last week wearing shirts and waving signs that read, "Do you believe the polls?" Tenicke, who served as Premier Doug Ford's campaign manager and helped lead the party to 3 successive majority governments, has also been critical of Poilievre for failing to pivot his campaign to focus on US President Donald Trump. When asked about Tenicke's comments at Queen's Park on Monday, Ford said, "Sometimes the truth hurts. He's the best campaign manager in the country, and to be very frank, if Corey was running that campaign, I don't think Mr. Poilievre would be in the position he's in right now," Ford said, adding that there is still a lot of time left in the election campaign. "At the end of the day, the people will decide which way you want this country to move forward." Freezing rain warning. Issued at Tuesday 5:59 p.m. April 15, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description: significant ice buildup due to freezing rain is expected or occurring. Locations: Buchans and the interior, Corner Brook and vicinity, Gros Morne and vicinity, Deer Lake, Humber Valley, Green Bay, White Bay. Total freezing rain, 10 to 20 millimeters. Total rainfall, 20 to 30 millimeters. Time span, until overnight. Remarks: temperatures are expected to continue fall this evening, causing rain to change to freezing rain in most locations. Precipitation will taper to a mixture of freezing drizzle or drizzle overnight. Anyone traveling in the area should be ready for icy conditions, especially over higher terrain areas. ###. Surfaces such as highways, roads, walkways and parking lots will become icy, slippery and extremely hazardous. Freezing rain warnings are issued when rain falling in sub-zero temperatures creates ice buildup and icy surfaces. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, send an email to nistorm@ec.gc.ca or post reports on X using #NLWX. Weather advisory. Issued at Tuesday 3:42 p.m. April 15, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description: winter weather travel advisory in effect. What? Snow, at times heavy, with snowfall amounts near 10 centimeters possible. Reduced visibility in heavy snow. When? Tapering off tonight. Additional information. Areas inland from Lake Superior and areas of higher elevation are most likely to see the highest amounts. Areas closer to Lake Superior may see rain or wet snow continue through the evening. ###. Poor weather conditions may contribute to transportation delays. Visibility will be suddenly reduced to near zero at times in heavy snow and blowing snow. For road conditions and other traveller information from the Ministry of Transportation, visit https://www.ontario.ca/511, https://www.twitter.com/511ontario, or call 511. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, send an email to onstorm@ec.gc.ca or post reports on X using #ONStorm. Recommended action: prepare for quickly changing and deteriorating travel conditions. Snowfall warning. Issued at Wednesday 3:50 a.m. April 16, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description: snowfall with total amounts of about 15 centimeters is expected. Locations: northern New Brunswick. Total snowfall: 15 centimeters, possibly locally more. Time span: Wednesday evening. Precipitation will begin as rain Tuesday evening and change to snow late in the evening or overnight. Snow will taper to flurries Wednesday morning. There is some uncertainty in the track of the system, and a slight change in track could change precipitation amounts. ###. Rapidly accumulating snow could make travel difficult over some locations. Snowfall warnings are issued when significant snowfall is expected. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, send an email to nbstorm@ec.gc.ca or post reports on X using #NBStorm. Wind warning. Issued at Thursday 3:20 p.m. April 17, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description: northeasterly winds will reach up to 90 km per hour starting this afternoon. They will diminish overnight tonight. ###. Loose objects may be tossed by the wind and cause injury or damage. Wind warnings are issued when there is a significant risk of damaging winds. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, send an email to qstorm@ec.gc.ca or post reports on X using #QCStorm. The Municipal District of St. Stephen wishes to advise residents that the Utility Department will be flushing water mains beginning Thursday, May 1st and will continue for up to 5 weeks. This flushing may cause some residents on the municipal water service to experience dirty water temporarily. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Selkirk and surrounding areas. 76-year-old Ronald Krieger has been safely located. Description: the Boyle Easter Farmers Market will be at the Boyle Community Centre on April 17 at 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. 22 vendors will be there selling goods including baking, crochet, woodwork, tumblers, keychains, Sunset Gourmet, cookies, salves, jams, cupcakes, beef jerky and more. Kids are welcome to come down and see the giant Easter basket, and see what the Easter Bunny has left. Bunny bags for the first 40 kids, Easter backdrop with a cutout for pictures. For more information contact the Farmers Market at farmersmarketboylealberta@gmail.com. 2 people are facing stunting charges after police in Halifax say they were each caught driving more than 50 km per hour over the speed limit. The Halifax Regional Police says an officer saw a vehicle travelling at a high rate of speed heading towards Halifax on the Angus L. MacDonald Bridge just before 11 a.m. on Sunday. Police say the vehicle was travelling 110 km per hour in a 50 km per hour zone. A 37-year-old man was ticketed for stunting, a charge automatically laid when a vehicle is travelling more than 50 km per hour over the speed limit. The following day, police say an officer saw a vehicle speeding on Victoria Road in Dartmouth near Highway 111 around 3:20 p.m. According to Halifax Police, the vehicle was travelling 119 km per hour in a 60 km per hour zone, resulting in a 19-year-old woman being ticketed for stunting. Both drivers were also suspended for 7 days and their vehicles were seized. The fine for stunting in Nova Scotia is $2,422.50, and 6 points are assigned to the driver's record. Temperatures may be on the rise in Ontario on Friday, but so are the chances of overnight thunderstorms across parts of the province. We are looking at the possibility of parts of Ontario being warmer than Los Angeles on Friday, which will give the Easter long weekend a deceptively pleasant start for some. But with the quickly rising temperatures comes the increasing risk of thunderstorms as the warm, moist air mass increases instability in the atmosphere. Don't miss. Get to know the hidden gems across Canada. Temperatures in the southwest will rise to summer-like levels, with winds are forecast to see a high of 25 degrees Celsius. Further north in Toronto, we are looking at a more comfortable late spring-like high of 15 degrees Celsius. Ontario Friday forecast conditions and highs April 17, 2025. Despite the pleasant warmth, it won't be all sunshine and clear skies for everyone on Friday, as a round of precipitation is forecast to bring showers to parts of southern Ontario and more persistent rain across Cottage Country and eastern Ontario, including Ottawa. Overnight thunderstorm risk builds Friday. A cold front passing over the province later Friday will likely be the trigger for overnight thunderstorms, a risk that stretches all the way from Texas to Ontario. Ontario Friday overnight thunderstorm risk April 17, 2025. Parts of northeastern, eastern, and southern Ontario could wake up to heavy rains and rumbles of thunder Friday night and into early Saturday morning. See also, sunshine, showers and storms. Ontario's Easter weekend will take some planning. The main hazards with any storms that develop will be heavy rainfall and small hail. Ontario Friday overnight forecast radar precipitation April 17, 2025. The rainy conditions are expected to improve by Saturday afternoon, although stubbornly cloudy skies may continue to cast a layer of gloom over the rest of the day. The sun could make a brief appearance on Sunday, but cooler temperatures, bitter winds, and possible scattered showers won't help improve the weekend's rainy theme. Description: The Population Health Survey invites all residents of NB aged 18 and over to share their unique experiences and perspectives about their health. The survey aims to better understand the health of New Brunswickers and identify both the needs and unmet needs of our population at the local level. This survey seeks to gather important insights into the general health and chronic conditions of New Brunswickers. It also explores key factors that impact their health such as lifestyle, environment, access to care, and barriers experienced in receiving healthcare services. The data collected will be shared with the public and can help healthcare providers, policymakers, and community leaders design more effective programs and interventions tailored to the needs of New Brunswickers. Ends on May 13, 2025. A potentially active hurricane season ahead. Forecasters with CSU called for 17 named storms across the Atlantic Basin this hurricane season, which runs from June 1 through November 30. 2025 hurricane season CSU forecast April 3. 9 of those named storms could grow into hurricanes, and 4 of those hurricanes could intensify into major Category 3 storms or stronger. An average Atlantic hurricane season would see 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. Don't miss what to pack in your emergency kit. Warm waters, lack of El Niño are driving factors. Forecasters cited several factors behind their prediction of more named storms than usual. We are likely going to see ENSO neutral conditions across the Pacific Ocean during the heart of this year's Atlantic hurricane season, which means neither El Niño nor La Niña will be present to affect tropical cyclone activity. This generally favors storm activity across the Atlantic. 2025 hurricane season factors to consider. Must see: what happens when El Niño and La Niña disappear? Key portions of the Atlantic Ocean are also experiencing warmer than normal ocean temperatures. A warm Atlantic favors an above-average season, since a hurricane's fuel source is warm ocean water, CSU explained in their forecast. The experts added, additionally, a warm Atlantic leads to lower atmospheric pressure and a more unstable atmosphere. Both conditions favor hurricane formation. The anticipated increase in hurricane activity throughout the Atlantic basin this season could lead to greater chances of landfalling storms across the U.S. and Caribbean. The team at CSU gave a 1 in 4 chance of a major hurricane landfall on the U.S. East Coast, a 1 in 3 chance of a major hurricane hitting the U.S. Gulf Coast, and better than even odds of a powerful storm making landfall somewhere in the Caribbean. Several names retired after the 2024 season. We are in an active era for hurricanes across the Atlantic Ocean. 4 of the basin's past 5 hurricane seasons came in above average. Last year saw 18 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes. 2024 retired tropical cyclone names. 3 of those storms, Beryl, Helene, and Milton, were deadly and destructive enough to warrant retirement of their names. Hurricane Beryl was the earliest Category 5 storm on record. Hurricane Helene killed hundreds of people in the U.S. when it unleashed catastrophic flooding in North Carolina and Tennessee. Hurricane Milton was one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes ever recorded. These names will be replaced with Brianna, Holly, and Miguel when last year's list is reused in 2030. Forecasters also retired one storm name from the eastern Pacific. Hurricane John killed several dozen people in western Mexico in September 2024. This name will be replaced by Jake during the 2030 Eastern Pacific hurricane season. Halifax Water is planning multi-million-dollar infrastructure upgrades as part of the Windsor Street Exchange redevelopment, including the replacement of high-risk pieces vital to delivering water to the peninsula. Earlier this month, the utility asked the Nova Scotia Regulatory and Appeals Board, formerly the Utility and Review Board, to approve $69.2 million in construction and design costs for multiple infrastructure changes. In their application, Halifax Water said these upgrades are needed within the next few years, so it makes sense to complete the work while the area will already be under construction. They said integrating the work will save taxpayers money and have less impact on the public. Advertisement: about $43 million in construction costs will be spent on local water, wastewater, and stormwater upgrades to replace aging pipes that are nearing their end of life. Pipes will be better aligned with the new roadway layout, the application said, in some cases moving infrastructure under the street rather than needing easements to cross private land. About $13.7 million will be used to replace the North End Feeder, NEF, transmission main, which is a pre-stressed concrete cylinder pipe that supplies most of the water to the peninsula's north end. It was built in the mid-1970s and is entering its 48th year, with a lifespan of about 50 to 75 years.